And it's time for another matchup in the first round of the Big Lager Championship. Let's have a look at the table. So, here's the table, and as we can see, in the last matchup we had the Red Stripe beating the champion of the Cheap Lager Championship, the Bière Deluxe, in the first round, which kind of shows the difference between these two championships. As I said before, Red Stripe really is the kind of lager which I would consider too good for the Cheap Lager Championship, and Bière Deluxe being beaten by it is proof of that. But now we're going to move on to another matchup against two strong contenders, or are they? Let's have a look at them. We have got San Martinez, which I have never had before, so it'll be interesting to see what it is like. It is essentially Lidl's version of San Miguel. It is 5% ABV, and 4 cans were £4, so they were £1 a can. Would have been eligible for the Cheap Lager Championship, but not at 5%, it wouldn't be. So, also this one, Perlenbacher Pilsner. I think it's about £1.19 a bottle. I know when they were on when it was on Lidl Plus price, it was cheaper than that. I think they're just over the £1 mark for a bottle. You can also buy it in cans, but I did say I would go bottle. And if I remember rightly, this didn't taste particularly or smell particularly skunked at all, despite it being in a green bottle. So I'm hoping I'm not giving anything an unfair advantage here. But I did say I would go for bottle if I could, so that's what I've done. But you can get this in can form, and I can't remember how much 4 cans are, but it's less than £4. So this one is cheaper than this one, essentially. But there we go. Why am I still waffling? I really don't know. So there you go. So the Perlenbacher is 4.5% ABV. So this almost could have been eligible for the Cheap Lager Championship. But again, a beer like this, it's not eligible for the Cheap Lager Championship. We can't have that, because a lot of these Aldi and Lidl beers are incredibly good value for money, and really, if we allowed things like this in, the Aldi and Lidl beers would have romped it, I reckon. They really would have absolutely stormed through. But anyway, there you go. But it is cheap. It's cheap enough to get in the Cheap Lager Championship, but here we are in the Standard Lager Championship. Perlenbacher Pils, which beat the Grande in the preliminary. San Martinez, which is yet to prove its worth. No more waffling. Let's get these poured out into glasses, and I will be right back. Okay, beer's poured. So what can I say? This one poured with a much bigger head than this one. Both heads are dissipating quite quickly. This one looks like it's got no head left now, which is a shame really, because it did have a head when it was poured, but it has dissipated just really, really quickly. Let's just agitate that a little bit. So yeah, we're getting bubbles rising to the top. Yeah, it's certainly not flat. It's there. Again, a bit of a head there, but it's it doesn't give you a big head, this one. This one gave me a lot of soap bubblesy kind of heads there. So anyway, let's have a little think about, well, first of all, let's tell you which one's which. That's well we usually do, don't we? So this is which one is which. Okay, that was which one was which. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little look at them. So looking at the colours, I'd say the one on this one, yeah, this one here is significantly darker than this one here. This one looks like it's going to be more malty, and this one looks like it's going to be more Pilsner-esque. Although I don't want to start thinking about which one's which, but yeah, this one's definitely, I'm getting more of an orange light through this one. This one I'm getting much more of a yellow light. So there we go. So I'm going to have to try and pretend I don't know which one's which out of these, but we'll have a see what we think here, because I've never had one of them before. So, but I don't know which one it is, obviously. So what can I say? Let's start nosing this one first. That's interesting. Very malty. Very malty, bit grassy, a little bit of honey and brown bread. Yeah, we're not really going to be comparing like with like on this. There's a little bit of a savoury note running through this one as well. I am really liking the smell on that. I've got to say, I'm enjoying the smell on that. Is there anything else coming through on the smell? Got some slightly orangey notes there as well. Well, it does smell very, very malty, which, if it's the one I think it is, then it's doing a very good job at being what it's trying to be. Let's try this. This is weird. The lack of head on this is strange, but let's agitate a little bit of life back out of it. There we go. Look at that. So getting the nose on this one, it smells incredibly crisp, incredibly clean. We're getting lemon and a little bit of malt. A little bit of something else. I'm not quite sure what it is. A bit of wafers, a bit biscuity. A little bit of syrup, possibly a little bit of metallicness. But yeah, but that smells. It smells lovely, clean and refreshing. This smells full-bodied and tasty. So it'll be very interesting to compare these two beers and decide which one I prefer out of the two. So, let's have a good old swill. I'm going to try this one first. Cheers. So very smooth mouthfeel, not dead carbonated. Getting a lot more of that marmalade and brown bread coming on the flavour. It is really malty, this lager. But it's refreshing, it's a little bit sweet, it's very tasty. I'm liking that. I am liking it, I think. Yeah, it's tasting like I would enjoy that, really. It's not particularly crisp. I wouldn't say it's particularly refreshing, but it is very tasty. Which, again, a really malty lager. You're going to get a lot of taste, not necessarily going to be as refreshing or crisp as something, for example, as a Pilsner. So let's have a look at this one. This one had the more Pilsner-esque smell to it. I still can't get over how that head's dissipating, but I suppose it's just the way the beer goes. And we'll find out whether anything's wrong with it when I taste it now. So here we go. Cheers. No, it tastes fine. It's crisp, it's clean. Again, there's some carbonation there, but it's not overly carbonated. Certainly not gassy. Yeah, there's far more bitterness in this one, although it's not really that bitter. Get a bit of lemon in there, some nice biscuity flavours on the aftertaste. The bitterness is coating the outside of the tongue there. It's not going away, it's kind of lingering around. So if that's your bag, then brilliant. Yeah, I say there's not much in the middle of the flavour there. It's got nice crisp dryness on the arrival, nice bitterness on the finish, a little bit of a biscuity aftertaste, but not a lot. Not much in the middle there, not much breadth of flavour, not much to, I don't know, to sort of, when you hold it in your mouth, there's not much going on there. This one, this is quite different than some of the beers I've had before. It's very different. It's very malty, as I've said before. It's maltier than any lager I've had for a while. Since I had those Spanish ones, in fact. You remember that 6.5% one I got from Menorca? That's probably rivaling this kind of level of maltiness. But this is tasting like a really nice malty Spanish lager. To me, it's nicer than Madri. It's nicer than Grande. Nicer than Cruz Campo. It just has more flavour. It's got a lot of flavour to it. And I could be wrong here. I could be completely, not know what I'm talking about. But I am enjoying that. This one, it's very crisp, very clean, very refreshing, but it's a bit lacking. I think it needs a bit more to it, a bit more Krombacher-ness to it. Krombacher really is my ideal Pilsner. I don't like a Pilsner that's too bitter, but I like it to be quite bitter and to have quite a bit of flavour with the bitterness. This has got the bitterness, it's got a little bit of the aftertaste. It doesn't quite have the flavour or the punch of a Krombacher, which is the gold standard that I would hold any kind of Pilsner style beer to, which I'm assuming this is. This one, could only really compare this to the Spanish San Miguel. Really, I think it's probably is that the best Spanish lager I've had? Possibly not. I mean, there's that 6.5% one, which I thought was really good. This, I do think, yeah. There's so much flavour there. You don't have to seek around too much. So I could really go in for these flavours and see, is there anything a little bit off, a little bit dirty in there? But I really don't need to, because it's just all there. It just hits you. There's something else there as well, but I could picture myself out on a Spanish beach with a nice cold pint of this, and it would go down really well. It's just got a bit of it's got so much body to it, and it's got some backbone, and it's really nice. This could be one to watch, actually. This could be one to watch. It's nice. It is a nice. What other word can I use? It is tasty. It's really, really tasty. I suppose that's the best word. It's a really tasty lager, I think. So that's going through. I think it's the San Martinez. I'd be very surprised if it's not. That I'm guessing the Perlenbacher. So so I think if it is, that's going to be going. But his younger brother is still in, and that'll be coming in a couple of goes time. But anyway, enough waffling. Let's just find out if I was right, and I will be right back. And I'm back, and well, what can I say? I was wrong. That was the Perlenbacher, and that was the San Martinez. What on earth? No, I'm joking. Obviously, it's that way around. I was right. That was clearly the San Martinez. That was the Perlenbacher. Yeah, I mean, you could just tell. I mean, again, a head in the bottle, which is interesting. No head in the glass, but head in the bottle. And maybe that's to do with the cleanliness of the glass, maybe, or something. And a bit San Martinez. Let's whack a bit more of this in here. But yeah, I mean, remarkable. Very nice. Very tasty beer. I think very malty. And a little bit of kind of lime as well, like you get with the old Hawkston lagers. And this one, your Perlenbacher Pilsner, really crisp, really clean. Got quite a nice flavour as well. It is a good beer. These are both really good beers. Yeah, both of these really happy with, really impressed with. Yeah, you can't go wrong with either of these. They're both very good lagers. They're both two of the best lagers in this particular. In this first round, I think, so far, anyway. But the Perlenbacher, it beat the Grande, but couldn't beat the San Martinez, and that's the difference, really. I think the Grande was nice, but this is just so packed with flavour. It just really is interesting. It's very, very nice indeed. So, Perlenbacher gone. So the Perlenbacher Pilsner's gone, but as I say, its younger brother, if it is its younger brother or older brother, the Perlenbacher Lager is still in the championship at the bottom. But now we have this guy going into the next round, the San Martinez. I'm not sure what it's up against. I didn't look at the table, but it is through to the second round. San Martinez, very nice lager, very tasty, very malty. Really, what San Miguel should taste like, I would think, but doesn't, as far as I know. But San Miguel will get its chance, so it'll be interesting to see. San Marcos has already been knocked out. San Miguel will get its chance. San Martinez lives to fight another day. Oh well. Until next time, have a good one.